Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health. Now, sorry, wrong deal here, but plugging my my other YouTube channel is a good idea. This though is Pro Wrestling Logic, where we are connected to the idea, at least, of bringing you pro wrestling content. We've got nearly 2,200 of these available, hoping to double that next year. In any event, this is the Impact Review for the 16th of whatever the heck month, December. There we are. 16th of December 2021, and my gosh, it makes me really sad that Impact is considered the number 3 North American promotion just because they've dropped so far in importance and all of that. They're moving towards their Hard to Kill pay-per-view in January. I don't know why a company that draws less than 100,000 people on television on a weekly basis on average needs a pay-per-view, but anyway, hey, they've got to make money too, I suppose. Anyhow, and it's no shot at the talent. It's just kind of sad that so many talented people are in the middle of a business that has horrible writing in general. Anyway, so as mentioned, this is the 12, 16, 19, and 2021 edition. Back to the 90s. I wish. Actually, been watching a lot of wrestling challenges of late. Gotta re-upload about 10 episodes of that thing got lost in my hard drive. Anyhow, so Ace Austin with Van Fulton defeating Hernandez on the BTI show. Why you have the best talent in your company on BTI, I have no idea. Opening video recaps the ongoing build to Hard to Kill main event. Moose will defend against W. Morrissey and Matt Cardona. Josh Alexander defeats Rahet Raju with Raj Singh. Match is booked after Alexander interrupted an attack on Raju's match last week against Larry D. Alexander was hot coming off the win over Christian at the pay-per-view. Certainly not there now. Alexander then starts dominating the match, but tries to take down Raju and Singh. Both try to interfere, taking advantage of the distraction and cut him off in the ring. Alexander then has a couple of chances, making a comeback, but Singh cuts him off there with a distraction again. Alexander catches Raju with a belly-to-belly suplex and German, and finally a step-up deal there. Alexander gets nailed in the ribs, and still hurting. Raju is still able to get some near falls with a bridge, but Alexander reverses into ankle lock, but released, taking out Singh. Raju then comes back with a couple of running boots and then double stomp, but Alexander kicks out at a near fall. Alexander then goes to C4, but's too hurt to get Raju up, and Raju's knee gets powered up with the C4 and gets a win. A lot of people are happy with this opener. I think it's kind of weak. Josh Alexander goes on to face Jonah, aka the former Bronson Reed, at Hard to Kill pay-per-view. Gia Miller interviews the Good Brothers and Violent by Design about their alliance. Anderson said that the champions and they could use any help they could get. Basically says Young's offer to work with them is beneficial. Him and Gallows said they didn't trust Violent by Design, but they're willing to work together. Young says it's a business deal and nothing more. Gia Miller interviews Chelsea Green about entering Ultimate X for women, says it's historic, and after that she would finally go for the title. She says that Cardona will win the title and they'll be a power couple. I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. Moose approaches Green and passive-aggressively talking smack about Cardona to her. He threatens her and their marriage to Cardona would be short even for wrestling standards. Joe Doring and Dark Gallows with Carl Anderson and Violent by Design defeat Rich Swann and Willie Mack with Rhino and Heath. Less than 2 years ago, Rich Swann was the hottest guy in the promotion. Now he's in a throwaway tag match. These four teams have been feuding for several months. Gallows starts the match against Swann and Mack, tagging in and out and trying to get an advantage for Gallows. In working over the arms, Swann and Mack both take down the big man and they do double dives. Back in the ring, Swan and Mac keep their upper hand until Swan gets cut off Gallows with a big boot after the distraction by Doring's presence and in the corner. Gallows and Doring work over Swan's midsection. Swan then managed to connect Doring with the Enziguri and tags out. Mac then comes in and takes down Doring and Gallows with help from Swan. Then they take out Doring, but they tried to take out Gallows. Swan then is pushed off the top rope by Doring. Double choke slam on Mac later. Gallows and Doring picks up the win. Throwaway match. After the match, Good Brothers and Violent by Design attack Swan and Mac, Rhino and Heath, but Eddie Edwards runs down to make the save. He takes out Anderson, Diener, and Young with a kendo stick and a dive. And the rest take out Doring and Gallows. Clearing the ring, VSK and Ziggy Dice talk backstage about contacting Brian Myers, and Dice basically says, don't do it until we win something. Completely flat deal there. The promo from Jonah explaining what being on the top dog means to him. He also talks about the time his father was in prison. He compared it with how he attacked Alexander, but unlike his father, he didn't have Alexander's respect, and thus would beat him up at Hard to Kill. What a flat promo, but anyway. X Division, Trey Miguel defeats John Skyler in a non-title match. Skyler's been kind of doing enhancement work for months, so not sure why he's in this position. Match starts with a sequence of reversals. Miguel gains momentum, catching Skyler with a dive. Only cuts him off with a diving spear. Tries to do it again on the other side of the ring. Doesn't go where he wants to go. Skyler works over Miguel, gets a couple of near falls, and comes into a release belly-to-belly suplex into the corner. Miguel almost lands on his neck. Miguel then comes back with some interesting deals there, and in the Meteora for the win. Could have been a better match, but after the match, Steve McLean attacks Miguel on the ramp, takes the title, knocks Miguel out. With it, McLean's been asking for a singles match with Miguel and drags the dead body along and appears they're going to do that match. Chris Bay with Hikuleo defeats Laredo Kid. Last week, Laredo Kid stands up to the Bullet Club after they bullied the staff backstage, challenged Bay to a match, and here we are. Match starts with a bunch of counters and reversals, both men getting attempted quick pin attempts, and then the match goes back and forth between both. Bay then cuts off Kid early on. Laredo then makes a comeback out speeding Bay, and wouldn't be until Hikuleo starts distracting Laredo Kid, and Bay then regains control by ramming Kid into the ring post. Bay then gets back in the ring, works over Kid's midsection, keeping Kid down and distracted by the referee's point, allowing Hikuleo to get some cheap shots in. Bay starts getting too cocky and allows Kid to slowly go for a comeback, but Bay is still able to cut him off and take him down with a flying elbow. Bay then catches Kid off the ropes, then goes for a springboard leg drop, but Kid finally is able to dodge him and take him out, and hits a dive, and doesn't make much sense after Laredo Kid manages this. The damaged Kid doesn't last for long. He regains some momentum, serves a moonsault on Bay. For a 2 count, Bay catches Kid with a huge spinning back kick and slam, only for another near fall. Finish finally sees Kid hit a DDT off a huge senton to Hikuleo, but then manages to go for Bay, gets cut off. Kid manages to push Bay from the top rope. Bay gets ready with a cutter as Kid dives on Bay with a plancha. Deonna Purrazzo showing up at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, and then there's also a highlight of there being a confrontation between Mickie James and Purrazzo. Afterwards, Scott D'Amore scolds both women for reinstating the no contract rule. Kim said that their match at Hard to Kill is now a Texas death match. Danielle Dashwood with the Influence defeats Jessie McKay with Cassie Lee. Last week, both of these teams joined up and were fighting with each other. Story of the match is which person from their respective teams is the bigger heel. Mirror spots, they do a little comedy. It's kind of goofy and useless, but Dashwood's more dominant after snapping McKay's neck on the ropes. Dashwood then gets a couple of near falls and goes after her crossbody in the corner, tries to submit McKay with a full Nelson, but McKay comes off, finally makes a comeback. Dashwood then goes for a small package, but McKay kicks out and takes down Dashwood with 2 boots and 2 counts, and Caleb pulls the ref down. Outside the ring, Rain, Lee, and Caleb all go on to fight, but distraction Caleb trips McKay and sets her up. Dashwood's spotlight kick for the win. Then Striker and Brown run down the card for Hard to Kill, including newly added stipulation for Purrazzo and James being a Texas death match. Contract signing for Hard to Kill, as if people care. And Morrissey is the first one out. He says he's here to win. Little bit babyface leaning there. Matt Cardona came out, and along with Chelsea Green, Moose comes out. D'Amore runs down the respective accomplishments of everyone involved in 2021. Cardona holds the contract up to sign. Morrissey jumps in and takes the contract before he could sign it. Morrissey then takes the mic and says that signing he wouldn't be about mind games. He's there for the championship. Cardona takes the mic and agrees that Morrissey, the last couple of weeks, he's been dealing with Moose's playing mind games with him, but he's someone that kept coming back after being pushed back, and he's ready for Hard to Kill. Moose told Cardona that he once again would fail, sign the contract, and told Green that after Hard to Kill, she's going to have to realize she's married a mid-carder. Moose insisted Green, and the brawl breaks out. Moose takes out Cardona, puts him through a table. Green looks on. Moose poses with the title over Cardona's body before leaving. Halfway to the ramp, Moose comes back to continue the beatdown. Tries to Pillmanize Cardona, but Green interferes. Distraction gives enough time for Cardona to recover and get a chair, but then swings at Moose and eventually nails Chelsea Green. Men on woman violence, not a fan, but I've mentioned that before with these reviews, and it is what it is. We'll be back with more right after this.